Hello and welcome back to Good Game Nation, where we bring you all things TCG. My name's Preston, and today is News Day, and there's so many cards being revealed for Set 5 right now, so this is going to be a long one. I'll try to put timestamps in the description to help you get to the cards that you actually want to see, so you don't have to wait to find it. As well, the first bit of news has to do with next week's anime spoilers, so if you're not into being spoiled about what Gear 5 looks like, hit the next timestamp, basically. But with that being said, the next pack is going to have Gear 5 on the pack art. So the official website in Japan has been updated, as well as a nice little announcement showing off that pack, which is right there. Pretty cool. We saw this card last week, so I'm sure you already know what it does. And there's some more news for us to get through before we get to all those card reveals, which is our offline regionals for October to December got some price support updates with some alt arts for the official offline regional participation pack number 2. And that is a Set 1 Otama reprint with Ace's Hand coming in. Crocodile from Set 2, Orobi from Set 3, Minosaurus, Norse, I'm not going to get that ever right, from Set 3, Spandam from Set 3, and this really cute Chiffon from Set 3 with Beiji and the baby. Super cute card. And all of those are coming for those online regionals that are coming October to December. I don't think we have any dates yet, and those are offline, so you'll have to go in person. I'm sure these participation packs will come around to other events as well, but this is an offline pack right now, so we'll have to see where else they get distributed, if at all. But they're just alt arts. You probably already have these cards as is, but they're cute. I like most of them. Good alt arts, I think. Good alt arts for cards that I think needed them. And look at Chiffon. Alright, moving forward to Twitter, or whatever it's called now, for the rest of the card reveals. I'm going to try to keep my thoughts short on them because there's so many. The first one here, Imparo Ivankov, red character, 4 cost, 5k power, Revolutionary Army, 1k counter. Activate main once per turn. If this character has 7k power or more, play 1 Revolutionary Army type character other than Imparo Ivankov with power 5k or less. I think this card could possibly be good. It depends on what cards that they can play. If they can play good cards, then it's even better. Bellamy is able to get this card up to its requirement, as well as 2 Dawn. So at the cost of 2 Dawn, you get a 5k or less card on the board. Bellamy requires you to pitch a Revolutionary Army, so there'll be some thought process behind this on how to pull it off, but seems pretty doable. The next card is Monkey D. Garp, blue character, 3 cost, 3k power, Navy, counter 2k. On play, draw 2 cards, then return 2 cards from your hand to the bottom of your deck in any order. That's a nice draw card. This draw card can be used in probably any blue deck because it's not specific. And you could probably use it in Nami, but it's not getting rid of cards from your deck. It's just drawing and putting them back. But it just depends on what you want to do. Probably not great for Nami, but good for any blue deck that could play it. The next card is Orobi, purple character, 4 cost, 5k power, Straw Hat Crew. On play, if you have 8 or more Dawn cards on your field, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost 3 or less, 1k counter. I think we've seen cards like this before. I don't think they often get played. We'll have to see how it plays into the purple and red stuff that we got from the most recent starter deck, and really just how that deck plays, because one of the effects is when you have 8 or more Dawn, you get to ramp. So we'll just have to see how fast we can get to this cost of 8 or more to be able to actually play it. It's really, I'm not sure, because I don't think we play cards like this currently. The next card is Nefertari Cobra, black character, cost 2, 1k power, Alabasta Kingdom, counter 1k. Blocker, on play, trash the top card of your deck. I'm not sure why Alabasta Kingdom is getting printed in black here. That's super weird because it was red and blue last set, so I would expect this to be a blue card, not a black card. I'm missing something there, what the archetype why this card is black. But trash the top card of your deck is weird as well. Yeah, I'm not sure what that plays into currently. With the stuff I've seen, I'm not sure where this goes. I'm not sure if the Dressrosa stuff from the previous set 4, can benefit from this. Very weird card with very little knowledge of what's going on with set 5. The next card is, I think this is Holly. Holly, yellow character, cost 3, 5k power. Animal, Sky Island, counter 1k, no original effect. No original thoughts on this card. 3 drop 5k vanilla. Yellow is going to get them at some point, so it's good that we're seeing it now. And it's a good boy, so why not? Moving back to Toto, red character, cost 1, 0 power, Alabasta Kingdom, counter 2k. On play, if your leader has 0 power or less, draw 1 card. Interesting, 0 power or less is doable with the VV deck. You just have to play the right cards. I think Kosa reduces your power to 0, so it's interesting that Toto and Kosa work together. But if you're able to pull it off, I don't know if the VV deck plays this way now. I doubt it does. So it'll be interesting to see if it's worth playing this to draw 1 card. It's very iffy. The draw, if it was more than 1, I definitely think you would get more action with it. But with just a draw 1, I'm not sure. Next card is Bellamy. Bellamy, green character, 3 cost, 5k power, Don Quixote Pirates, counter 1k. No original effect, no original thoughts. I wonder if I looked back at set 4 if they already had something in this cost in power position or not. If they didn't, this is just filling in that spot that every archetype basically gets, just like the yellow card we just saw. Moving on past all of this, we're going to this Zoro. The Zoro, there was some leaks of it earlier in magazines. We're finally getting it here as an official release. Roronora Zoro, yellow character, 4 cost, 5k power. Wano, Straw Hat Crew, counter 1k. Trigger, K up to one of your opponent's cost 4 or lower characters. That's pretty cool. We're getting more and more yellow Straw Hat Crew stuff, so I'm excited to see if we're going to get like a Nami Searcher for yellow, so that we can play Straw Hat stuff, or which leader this will play best in, since we're getting so many. We've gotten like promo Luffy's in yellow, and we're slowly getting more Straw Hat yellow cards, so it'll be cool to see like an Otama red yellow or something silly like that. Let's move on to this guy. Let's find his entry on Discord. As always, using Discord for my translations, linked always in the description. Maynard, blue character, cost 2, 2k power, Navy, 1k counter, blocker. Yeah, every archetype gets blockers, and they always get them at low cost. I don't know how many are 2 cost 2k. I feel like a lot of them are 1 cost 1k or 3 cost 1k. Just thinking of the average used ones in decks right now. So its cost and power are in my head in a weird spot, but It's a blue navy card for the Sakazuki deck, so that's basically where it lands in my head, is most likely a card that will get played just because it's a blocker at a decent range. Moving on to Bepo. Bepo, purple character, 3 cost, 5k power, Minx, Heart Pirates. When attacking, if you have less Dawn cards on your field than your opponent, give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 2k power until the end of the turn. So from what I remember, there's a lot of these cards that say if you have less Dawn than your opponent. So it feels like, I think it's specifically the Heart Pirates version of purple that wants to be behind in Dawn to get their effects. And if that whole archetype comes together nicely, we'll see this card get play. If it falls short, it's going to be an awkward card to fit into random decks, which kind of feels like what purple does in general. Moving on to cool little deck boxes. This is stuff that we've seen art for before. That's a card from set 2 or 3, and then just cute stuff here. Alright, we are finally at the next card. Viola, black character, 2 cost, 3k power, Dressrosa, counter 1k. On play, your opponent chooses 3 cards in their trash and return them to the bottom of their deck in any order. It's weird. So this feels like a counter card for black. So right now, black works off of having cards in your trash to activate your double attack Gear 4 Luffy, if I remember everything correctly. So this feels like it could be a counter to stop you from having cards to remove. CP also has some stuff like this, so some of the Lucci decks play the CP stuff that I believe you have to return CP cards to the bottom of your deck. So this could be a way of stopping your opponent from getting effects off of the trash, which is cool counter meta play that I don't think we've seen yet. I realized I missed this card. So I scrolled back real quick. This is one of the first cards I should have shown, but I missed it. So here it is. Don Quixote Doflamingo, green character, 7 cost, 8k power, Don Quixote Pirates, no counter. On opponent's turn, once per turn, a cost of 1 Dawn. Arrest up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost 6 or less. For its overall cost and power, we'll have to see how it plays into actually being played, but resting an opponent's character with 6 or less is huge. This card doesn't have to be active or anything, so when your opponent attacks with a card, you're going to rest a second character on their board, so they're losing an attack for this. So the value is really there. It's just going to depend on if that 7 cost slot works for this card in that very specific deck. Which the green purple Dofi might be able to do because it's restanding Dawn on the end of turn. It's also a really interesting card to splash into green decks if it fits. It has, like, deck building is going to be really important for this card because whether or not it fits or not is really up to the meta and if it's worth playing a 7 cost card in the late game, really. Alright, back to our regularly scheduled program with Kotori, yellow character, 3 cost, 3k power, Sky Island, counter 1k. On play, if you have Hitori, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost equal or less than the number of your opponent's life cards. That's a very interesting idea. It means your first Hitori, if there is no other named Hitoris coming this set, your first Hitori is completely useless. Maybe they're going to put a stronger Hitori that's vanilla or no original effect or something like that to make it so that you can play that one first and play this one because your first one would just not do anything, and that kind of feels bad to me. But KOing up to one of your opponent's characters with cost equal or less of your opponent's life when it's a 3 cost card could be a 5 or less. Most of the time it's going to be around a 5 or less if you're playing so that this card gets its max efficiency. mid to late game, you're hitting 3s or less for a cost of 3. So it's interesting, and we'll have to see how yellow manipulates life to see if it is very effective. It'd be very interesting to see how this card gets played in the future. I think its downside is you have to have a Kotori on the field first, so your first one is useless unless you're able to juggle them. Play Kotori, get its effect, pick up Kotori, play Kotori. That would be a very interesting way to be able to use that character efficiently. But we'll have to see what happens. Alright, now on to the cards that were revealed during the live stream. Another Championship Series live stream happened overnight, and we got new cards. Sabo, red character, 6 cost, 7k power, Revolutionary Army, no counter. On play, K up to 2 characters with a combined power of 4k or less. So, red has a lot of stuff that it can minus powers, so this can get stuff into range. It also is pretty rude to weenie decks or other red decks, basically, because red decks play a lot of searchers. They also play a lot of low-powered cards to keep the deck running, like zero powers with Makino and Otama and stuff like that. So you could hit an Otama and a 4K or something like that. So that's really interesting. At a cost 6 and 7k power, it's a pretty good card. Generally, its only downside is being no counter, which could hurt in the late game. But playing the deck in an interesting way, you could play at least one of these, maybe more if the meta demands it. So it'll be really interesting to see how it gets played. It's a really good art. We saw this a few weeks ago. So we'll just have to see what happens with our Flame King here. Moving on to a Rebecca SR. Rebecca, black character, 4 cost, 0 power. Dressrosa, 1k counter. Blocker. On play, return up to 1 black character other than Rebecca with a cost of 3 to 7 from the trash to your hand. Then play a cost 3 or less black character from your hand to the field rested. So it's a pretty complicated effect. So you're going to return a card with a cost of 3 to 7, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 from your trash to your hand. That's a pretty wide range of cards for your mid game. Tons of targets for this card, and then play a 3 or less rested. So if you have a good 3 or less with an on play effect, it doesn't have a specific of not being able to play Rebecca, so you might be able to play Searcher Rebecca at that point. We'll have to see. Like, there's going to be some like really silly things that you can do with this, and it just seems like such a good card. Lots of stuff to bring back, lots of stuff to play. Even if you bring back a 7 cost, or you bring back a 2k counter or something like that, that's a huge move. And getting more interaction with your opponent, with your trash, is really a good evolution for this deck. And it shows that that Viola that we talked about a few minutes ago is going to be very important for stopping your opponent from getting these effects. Alright, moving on to Enel, yellow character, 7 cost, 7k power, Sky Island, no counter. Rush, once per turn if this character were to be removed from the field, you may trash the top card of your life instead. If character Monkey D. Luffy is on the field, this effect may not be activated. I actually laughed out loud, not jokingly. Really laughed at this effect because it's so funny that just a single Luffy card negates this effect. So yellow with Rush, that's another yellow with Rush cards. There's, I think, 2 now that I think of off the top of my head. And it's a pretty strong effect, not being able to be KO'd. Totally a Logia to do that for SRs. Moving on to Borsalino, blue character, 7 cost, 8k power, Navy. No counter. On play, place one character with a cost of 4 or lower to the bottom of its owner's deck. A cost of 7 removing a 4 or less feels mediocre in my opinion. I feel like there's probably better cards at this position. This does probably feed into the Sakazuki that is coming out, the blue-black Sakazuki. So we'll have to see if it makes sense in that and if it plays well with other stuff. I guess if you're playing black navy stuff, you're hitting a lot more because you're going to be able to minus a lot to get more. So if you're playing efficiently, this could possibly hit 9s and less, because I believe the Kuzan secret is a -5. So this could get better with the right board state. Depends on the meta. That's going to be the broken record version of today's effects. But we've been here long enough. If you're still here, if you just jumped here, thank you for watching. This was a massive reveal. If cards keep coming out this frequently, I'm going to start posting news on Wednesday as well, just so that there are multiple shorter videos so that they're easier for you to watch, because I know it's hard to watch a sitcom number of minutes of One Piece card reveals. So if I can make 2 10-minute videos for you guys, I will, because I know it's a tough cookie to bite with just one thing after another like that. So if you're still here, make sure you hit subscribe, hit like, do all the YouTube things. Let me know what you're most excited for in the comments. That's a good comment to leave for me. And if you want to get more about those little regional notes and stuff like that were at the top of the video, let me know what you would like to see. But until next time, thank you all for watching. Peace.